Good afternoon. I am Jennifer Walker Gates, immigration attorney with Walker Gates Vela, and I'm here this afternoon with our associate attorney, Diego Nunez. Hey, Diego.
Hey, Jennifer.
Diego and I are here today to share with our audience a bit about Daca and convictions for possession of marijuana. This is an important topic because as people are able to apply for Daca for the first time, again, after several years of the program being kind of in suspension, people need to understand what kinds of criminal history can still qualify for Daca. And possession of marijuana is one of those that surprisingly, people with that conviction can still qualify for Daca in many cases. But there are some details that need to be covered, and that is what we are here today to discuss. So, Diego, what do people need to understand about Daca and convictions for possession of marijuana? What, as a general matter, what do you think people need to know about that?
Well, I think that, people hearing you say that despite having a conviction, you still qualify for it might be a little confused about that or might be surprised. And part of that is because in the last 4 years, we've had an administration that has tried to cancel the program and then was implementing a much more strict standard in adjudicating those cases. But the other side of this is that there are still real consequences to a marijuana conviction for immigration purposes, and that is well, for one, let's say someone has entered without status, entered illegally. A conviction for possession of marijuana is one, could be considered a reason to deny you getting some sort of status, and they would require you to have to seek a waiver if you're eligible. The other is, and I think much harsher, is that if you are detained by ICE officers, you don't have a possibility to ask for an immigration bond from a judge. Now, ICE has the authority to release individuals, but if you have an administration that is not friendly towards immigrants, that might not be something that would happen. And then the other thing is, let's say that you did enter with status. If you have two convictions of possession of marijuana, that can make you deportable. And so, and it can also make you mandatorily detainable by immigration agents. And so we have these two, one, a great benefit that you still qualify for. And then on the other hand, you have these very real consequences that would make anybody reasonably hesitant to apply for DACA.
Yes, I definitely agree that we do want to be very clear that we're not saying that, like, if you're caught with marijuana, that there won't be any problems. That is definitely a situation that can cause a number of complications, as Diego pointed out, mandatory detention. And, especially as the program, as DACA was under attack, there wasn't a lot of relief available for anyone caught with even tiny amounts of marijuana, or even people who were caught, without any criminal activity whatsoever, who were and had encounters with ICE. There were, way too many people with absolutely no criminal histories who were deported under the Trump administration just simply for being here. Now, but I do at the same time want people to understand that we do have a little bit of a weird situation when it comes to DACA and possession of marijuana. Yesterday, our partner Chito Vela recorded a YouTube video about DACA and DWI. And as a general rule, if you have a DWI, you are disqualified from receiving DACA. However, if you have a possession of small amount of marijuana with no aggravating factors, such as like you were as long as you weren't trying to sell it, or like you didn't have a gigantic amount, and I mean sell it illegally, then you can still qualify for Daca. So it's a little bit of a paradox like that. And so I just wanted to be clear with people that just having a possession of marijuana conviction doesn't automatically disqualify you from receiving Daca. Now, if you have more than one conviction, that kind of case, I've never tried to get past immigration. I have had success. We have had success with a number of clients over the years who did have possession of marijuana, who were able to receive Daca. But as Diego pointed out, there could be plenty of other complications as well. Diego, what do you know about the cases in states where marijuana has been legalized? Are immigrants and non-citizens able to sort of participate in the economy around legalized marijuana without facing immigration consequences, or do you know?
Well, I know a little bit. And what the situation that you're seeing in the states that have decriminalized marijuana in certain aspects, the situation is that the federal government still has not. And so you have to be aware of those potential consequences that could arise if, let's say, you admit to working in a dispensary or possessing large amounts of marijuana. Because on the federal level, admissions can be sufficient to be considered, if they meet a certain standard, can be considered the same as a conviction. And some people, a lot of people will reasonably believe or think this is unfair. And it is on so many levels. But as I was actually explaining to a client today who pointed out that, he has tried to do everything right in his 30 years in the United States, but still finds himself in deportation proceedings. I explained that I often tell my clients as immigrants, we have to be better than citizens. And that means behave, better. I mean, keep your nose clean, literally, because the consequences, unfortunately, can be so heavy-handed. And, deportation without much way to remedy it because of consequences of drug convictions or controlled substances can, it can change your life forever. And so that's why I tend to just be more cautious and tell people to just stay away from it if you can.
Agreed. Yes, the situation with legalized marijuana, state criminal law versus federal criminal law is quite complex. We don't have enough time in this video to get into all that, but suffice it to say that for non-citizens, even working in the, around legalized, non-criminalized marijuana could be very problematic. So at this point in time, we are advising clients to not do that. And, it could be an incentive for some to become a citizen and ultimately, finalize your immigration journey with an application for naturalization. However, if you have a history with working in the marijuana industry, that could be complicated as well. So until such time as you are all the way over the finish line with your naturalization, we recommend against possessing or participating in, any kind of sale, distribution, or economy around legalized marijuana, and definitely criminalized marijuana. So, okay, Diego, what should people do if they have an issue or a problem and they need to get clarity about whether they're eligible for Daca and, or if they have a pending criminal case involving marijuana, how should they reach you?
Well, so if you have a pending case, or if you have a conviction, I mean, you should definitely contact us or contact, an immigration attorney to talk about those cases. And even if you have just one simple conviction, there is reasons to still review this with an attorney. And that's because the Daca is not regulated by law, by statute in the books. And there are really no firm regulations in the Code of Federal Regulations. We basically only have a question and answer sheet that USCIS has given. And in that, it talks about the discretion to review what can qualify as a significant misdemeanor. And so significant misdemeanors could be any kind of misdemeanor conviction where you have a sentence of more than 90 days. Or it could be driving while intoxicated, or it could be a conviction for assault related to domestic violence, or possession of a weapon. But let's say that you have a possession of marijuana conviction where maybe you received a 30-day sentence, but at the same time, maybe you have prior arrests where they were dismissed. Maybe you have a Class C misdemeanor where there's no jail time of possession of paraphernalia. And those are factors where USCIS might consider them aggravating factors, that even though your possession of marijuana conviction resulted in less than a 90-day conviction, they might also consider it significant because there might be a track record of problems or arrests related to the possession of drugs. So you have to, you really have to review it with an attorney, and so that you can make an informed decision before you move forward with a case like that.
Definitely. And if you have a case like that and you want to reach us, please give us a call. You can go to our website at walkergatesvela.com. There you can click to call us or click to schedule an appointment with us. Any of our attorneys at the office would be happy to consult with you to help you understand your eligibility and the risks and benefits of applying for Daca, whether or not you have a conviction of the type that we've discussed today. So feel free to also leave us a comment below this video. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're putting out regular content to help immigrants understand their rights and responsibilities. And with that, we'll sign off for today. Thank you so much, Diego, for being here. And we look forward to seeing you all again very soon.
All right, thank you. And I'll see you later, Jennifer.
All right. Thank you.